Almost made it. Hi everyone, my name is Kate, and I'm going to be teaching you a strong flow today. I really made this flow to kind of bring out some of the anxiety that I've been feeling, kind of been cooped up and not really being able to go and do the things that I'm normally able to do. So it's a pretty strong flow, but there are some good stretches in there. So if you ever feel like you need to take a beat, like skip the vinyasas, just go back into either a downward facing dog or a child's pose. Totally great. Please take care of yourself. As always in yoga, listen to your body. So we're going to be using a few props today. I've got some blocks here. For a few of the poses, you can totally not use the blocks, or if you don't have blocks, you can use like soup cans or books or a chair or the wall if you need to. Anything that you need to modify, please feel free to take it. I also have a strap here. We'll be using that later on for some shoulder opening. It's actually Hannah's leather belt, so no need to get fancy there. Literally anything that is not stretchy that you can use to go up and overhead, please grab that. And if you would like to use a blanket for your shavasana at the end, please do. I find that it's really grounding to have it kind of laid across my pelvis to just kind of help me drop into my shavasana. So without further ado, let's get started. We are going to start in a wide-legged Balasana, child's pose. So knees as wide as the mat, feet together, and slowly start to crawl your hands forward. And when they can't stretch any farther, take a big inhale here. Exhale, set your forehead down onto your mat. We're going to take a beat here to just arrive on our mats. There's a lot of stuff swirling around in the world today. But for the next, I don't even know how long this is going to go for. The next however long we're on the mat. Just be present, be here, show up for yourself. Take care of yourself. Let's take a few breaths here. Just really find your breath. Notice how your ribs expand as you take an inhale. And let your belly go soft as you exhale. Maybe take a second to feel all of the connecting areas of your body with the mat. Feel your hands connect to the mat, your knees, the tops of your feet. Feel your forehead press into the mat. Maybe roll back and forth on your third eye area a few times here. Let's take one final cleansing breath together. Big inhale. Exhale, let it out. Inhale, look up. And make your way back into a downward facing dog. We focus on pressing the ground away here with your hands, lifting your hips up and back. You can bend your knees a little bit here if you need to. We're going to come into pedaling our legs out, and we're moving with our breath. So take an inhale here. Exhale, straighten your legs as far as they'll go. Reach your heels down to the mat. On your next inhale, bend into your right leg. Exhale, straighten your right leg, bend into your left leg. Inhale, straighten left, bend right. Exhale, straighten right, bend left. Really take the full amount of your breath here to arrive with your movements. So don't rush it, but on your full inhale, take that whole entire time to bend into your knee. So it's kind of like a fluid movement here. And come to stillness. On your next inhale, look forward to the top of your mat. And very slowly make your way up to the top of your mat. Your feet about hips width distance apart. You're going to do a really active forward fold here. So find all four corners of your feet, push into the ground. Make your legs so straight and strong that your kneecaps lift. Just feel yourself being supported by the strength of your legs here. Feel your feet being supported by the ground underneath. If you want, you can hang. You can keep your hands down on the ground if that feels more grounding for you. And as you're ready, very slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll yourself up. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Head comes last. And roll your shoulders down onto your back. Let's do some neck rolls here. So reach your right ear to your right shoulder. Dip your chin down to your chest until your left ear comes to your left shoulder. And come back around. Right ear to right shoulder. If there are any spots here that feel interesting, you can feel free to stay for a breath or two. Really try to work on that muscle. If you like, you can take your neck all the way back and around. Do the other side. Ooh, a little crunchy. And raise your head up. And shake it out a little bit. Some of that anxious energy out. Cool. Now we are going to do a standing forward fold cat-cow. So I've got my two blocks here. If you're really bendy or don't feel like you need blocks, you can always put your hands all the way down to the ground, or if you want, you can put your hands on your shins here. But I really like using the blocks so you can pull your heart forward. So come to a forward fold with your feet about hips width distance apart. You've got your blocks on the tallest height here. And on an inhale, we're going to come into cat pose. Pull your heart through. Exhale, round your spine. Come into cat, push the ground away. Inhale, look forward. Come into cow. Exhale, round your spine, cat pose. And as you're doing these with your inhales and your exhales, make sure you're pulling your heart through and you're keeping your legs really active and strong here. And come back to center. Place those blocks out of the way and roll yourself back up. All right, let's get to flowing. Come to stand at the top of your mat with your feet hips width distance apart. And on your next inhale, reach your arms overhead, sit back, chair pose. Be really straight and strong here. Activate through your arms. More inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back for a modified plank, so knees are down. Take an inhale. Exhale, lower down to your belly. Have your feet about as wide as your mat here. Press down into the ground. Tweeze your elbows together, and on an inhale, rise up, cobra pose. Exhale, lower. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, come up, press down into the tops of your feet. Exhale, lower. Now press up through plank pose. Come back into downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up into the air. Exhale, step through for warrior one. Keep your back leg straight and strong here. Roll down the outer edge of your back foot. Sit deeply into your front foot. One more inhale. Exhale, noticing how your hips move, but everything else stays the same. Come into warrior two. Again, back leg straight and strong. Energy shooting out through your fingertips. One more inhale. Exhale, Vinyasa. Other side. Inhale, raise your right leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it through for warrior one. Again, feet pushing down into the ground. Feel the energy rising up through the connection of your feet with the ground, all the way up through the tips of your fingertips. One more inhale. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Again, noticing the very small, slight change in the way that your hips are positioned, the small change that your ribs made to get you here, how everything else basically stayed the same. And come down, Vinyasa. Or downward facing dog, or child's pose if you need it. We all meet in downward facing dog. Your next inhale, look to the top of your mat and walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale, sit back chair pose. And exhale, come to Tadasana. All right, again, feet hips width distance at the top of your mat. Inhale, sit back chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, step back, plank pose or downward facing dog. Take a vinyasa if you'd like. And meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, let your left or your right leg raise straight up into the air. Exhale, step it forward between your two hands, rise up, warrior one. Take an inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Take an inhale here. Connect your elbow with your knee and come into extended side angle pose. Remember, keep pushing the ground away here. Arm reaches up and overhead. See if you can open your chest up to the sky. One more breath. Come on up, straighten your leg. Grab a block if you'd like one, and come into triangle pose. So both legs are straight. Roll your chest open to the sky and reach your arms straight up to the ceiling. Again, think about pushing the ground away. Keep both of your legs straight and strong here, more so than you think you need. Let them be your support. One more inhale. Exhale, Vinyasa or downward facing dog. I'm gonna take a down dog. It's always okay to skip Vinyasas, I promise. Everyone meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up into the air. Exhale, step it between your 2 feet. Spin your back leg down, rise up into warrior 1. Take an inhale. Exhale, warrior 2. Take an inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Elbow to knee, right arm reaching up and overhead. Spin your chest open to the sky. Straighten into your front leg. Come on up. Grab a block if you'd like one. And come into triangle pose. Both legs straight and strong. Roll your chest up to the sky. And if it feels right, bring that top arm overhead. Really activate your core here. A lot of times I like to open up into a back bend. But this pose is not a back bend, so if you find yourself kind of swaying open, bring it back with your core. And even keeping your arms straight and strong will help with that long line of energy so that everything is straight and strong and not like waving out into the distance here. All right, and come down, Vinyasa, downward facing dog, or as always, child's pose. And we meet in downward facing dog. Next inhale, look forward. Walk your feet up to the top of your mat and step out with your feet as wide as your mat. And sit back into Malasana, yogi squat. Turn to face the front of the camera here so you can see what it looks like. Toes can either be forward, which is a little bit harder, or pointing out, which is a little bit easier here. Elbows on the insides of the knees, pushing them out and away. Place your hands down on the ground. Come to standing in a forward fold. Legs are still wide. Bring your hands up to your hips. Make your back nice and straight. Untuck your chin from your chest and come up with a straight back. All right, back at the top of our mats with our feet hip-width distance apart. One more flow with the warrior series. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, sit back, chair pose. Take a couple of breaths here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, Vinyasa, downward facing dog, or child's pose. We all meet in downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here in downward facing dog. Come back to your breath. We've done a couple of strong flows and we're going to do one more pretty strong flow here. So if you find that you've lost your breath, just give yourself a few beats to come back to it. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Exhale, step it between your two hands, warrior one. Take an inhale here. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Now listen carefully. Bring all of your weight into your front foot and pivot onto your back foot so that you're in a runner's lunge. Again, lean forward all of that weight into your right foot. Hands can come down to blocks here on the tallest height. And step forward into warrior three. Make sure that you're grounding down through that right foot. Engage your legs so much so that your kneecap lifts. Make sure that that left leg is straight and back behind you. Your foot is active, your toes either flexed, pointed, flointed, anything in between, as long as everything is active. One more breath here. And we're coming down into Kundalini's descent. So it's kind of like a curtsy without touching your foot to the back of the mat. So we'll take an inhale here. Exhale, bend both of your legs, bring your left leg behind you into a curtsy. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, Kundalini's descent. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, come up. Exhale, bend both knees. Last one, inhale, come up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, come up. Place your back leg back down so that you're in a lunge. Frame your front foot. And Vinyasa, downward facing dog or child's pose. Meet back in a downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, step it forward. Come up to warrior one. Inhale here. Exhale, open warrior two. Take an inhale. Same thing here. Bring all of your weight into your front foot. Pivot on your back foot so that you're in a runner's lunge. Bring your hands down to your blocks, lean forward, and lift off for warrior three. Everything should be straight and strong here, including your arms pushing down into the blocks, your foot pushing down into the floor. Activate both of your legs here. This is a strong pose. You are a warrior. Everything is active. One more breath. Here we go, Kundalini's descent. Inhale here. Exhale, bend into your knee and come back into a curtsy. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, bend. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, Kundalini's descent. One more. Inhale, warrior three. Exhale, Kundalini's descent. Inhale, come back through warrior three. Bend into your front knee and set your back leg down for a high lunge. Frame your front foot with your hands. Step back, Vinyasa or downward facing dog. Everyone meets in dog pose. Inhale, lift your right leg back and up. Exhale, step it to the outside of your right hand. Set your right knee down. And come into a high lizard pose on your knee. Again, pull your heart through here. If you need some blocks for a little extra lift, really trying to feel that stretch down through your left hip flexor right here and down through your quad. Move the blocks if you had them. Heel toe your right foot into your midline and send your hips back for half splits. Ardha Hanumanasana. Blocks can be helpful here too if you need a little bit extra height. Try to keep your back straight and fold forward at your waist. Reach your head to the top of your mat. Keep your right leg active and strong here. If you activate your quadriceps, you'll be able to feel the hamstring release and you'll get a deeper stretch. In your next inhale, plant your right foot down. And step back into downward facing dog again. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. And step it to the outside of your left hand. Set your right knee down and come into lizard pose. Again, this is an active lizard pose. We're keeping our arms straight and strong here, pulling our hearts through so that we can really feel that stretch through the right hip flexor here. And as you're ready, heel toe your left leg to the center of the mat and send your hips back for Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. And again, keep your back as straight as you can. If that means you don't come down as far, no problem at all. Remember, keep that front leg active and strong so that you can release your hamstrings and get that deeper stretch. One more inhale. Exhale, step your left knee back to meet your right. Open up your knees and sit back for Balasana, child's pose. If you want to bring some movement to this, you can sway from side to side here. You can come up onto your fingertips and kind of dip your shoulders. Especially if it feels weird here and you're like, oh my God, people are going to judge me if I do this. Do that. Whatever movement your body feels like it needs here. And come back to stillness. Next inhale, look up and come into tabletop. Make sure your knees are directly underneath your hips here. We're going to come into puppy pose, which is a very big, strong pose. So if you feel like you've gone too deep, please back out of it a little bit. You're going to take a giant step forward with one hand, giant step forward with your other hand. Take an inhale here, lift up. Exhale, send your chest down to the mat, making sure that your hips don't come over your knees. And we're going to keep our arms straight and strong here. See if you can bring your forehead down to the mat. If you've got a little bit more of an open chest, you might be able to bring your chin to the mat. Just keep pushing the ground away and forward with your hands. So palms down and forward. Hips lift back and high. So it's kind of like you're stretching a rubber band. You've got this force pulling back on your hips and another force pulling forward on your hands. You should feel a really nice stretch through your arms and your side waist here. On your next inhale, look up. Plant your forearms down onto the ground and roll forward into Sphinx pose. Shoulders directly over your elbows. Words are hard. And stamp your pelvis down into the mat. See if you can push down into your palms and drag your hands back so that you can pull your heart through. All right, take your right hand and pivot it so that it's diagonal across the mat. Bend your left leg and reach back for a quad stretch. So if you're only able to reach back this far, no problem at all. If you needed a strap, you can loop it around the back of your foot. We're going to play with activating and relaxing our muscles here. So right now your muscles are probably relaxed, which is great. It's just a different stretch. But try squeezing your butt and activating your quad and seeing how that changes the stretch for you. Do you feel something different in the belly of your muscle? Does it activate in a different place? If you want to kind of sway your foot from side to side and just feel what it feels like. One more breath here to really breathe into the belly of that muscle. Exhale, release it. We'll come right into the second side. So pivot your left arm so that your hand is across at a diagonal at the top of your mat. Bend your right leg and reach back and grab it for a quad stretch. And again, trying to activate and relax those muscles and just kind of play with it and see what it feels like. We don't get a lot of time in our days to just kind of play with things and see what it's like, just to see. Make sure you're not sinking into your shoulder here as you're doing so. And release. Come to sit on your heels and grab your strap. So you can either sit on your heels just like this with your toes down, or if you want a little bit of a foot stretch, you can come back forward, tuck your toes with your knees together and your toes together, and slowly sit back. And you immediately feel your feet screaming at you. Sometimes I need to untuck my pinky toes here to really make sure that I get a good stretch through my entire foot. Grab your strap. I'm going to distract you if you're in this toe stand here. Bring it pretty wide. This is definitely wider than shoulder width distance. We're going to be going up and over, so you want to make sure it's really wide so that you can keep your arms straight the entire time. So bring it down here in front of you, and on an inhale, reach your arms straight up, keep them nice and strong. And at the end of your exhale, reach your arms back. Keep them nice and straight, 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 all the way down. Inhale, come back up and over, arms straight. And exhale, come back down. If you're not able to keep your arms straight here, widen your grip. Don't feel bad if it needs to go as wide as the actual belt. Again, this is your practice, your body. Your body is not going to be the exact same as my body or anyone else's. Inhale, come up. Exhale, drop behind you. Inhale, come up. Exhale, drop forward. One more, inhale, come up. Exhale, back over. Inhale, come up. Exhale, forward. Drop the strap off to the side here. Come forward onto all fours and pitter-patter your feet out, regardless of whether you were standing on your toes or not. Just feels kind of nice. All right, and tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Just take a beat here to feel how this down dog feels different from the very first one that we did. Can your heels reach any farther down to the ground than before? Do your legs feel any different? Do your arms and your shoulders feel any different? On your next inhale, reach your right leg up and back. Exhale, come forward into pigeon prep. So knee is out and wide as much as you can. Your back leg is coming straight out from your back hip socket, so make sure that it's coming straight out behind you. And the goal of this pose eventually is to have your leg straight across the top of your mat. Mine definitely doesn't get there yet. Yours might not get there yet, and that's totally fine. So if you like, you can stay straight up and tall here, or you can come down onto your forearms, see what that feels like. Or you can come all the way down to the ground for a deeper stretch. Whatever your body needs, let's take about 5 intentional breaths here to just breathe into the muscle that's stretching. You can even relax your back leg here. Last breath. Come back up into a downward facing dog. And reset. Inhale your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, place your knee down and come into pigeon prep on the left side. Check that back leg, make sure it's coming straight out from your hip socket. And again, you can either be upright here on your hands, come down onto your forearms, pull your heart through, see what that feels like. Or come down onto your forehead, or even stack your hands on top of one another and rest your forehead on your hands if you're like me and have limited space to stretch out. 5 breaths. And come on up. Meet me back in a downward facing dog. Take one big cleansing breath here. Inhale. Exhale, release. And bring your knees down onto the ground. Set yourself back up here in tabletop. So your knees are directly under your hips and your hands are directly under your shoulders. We're going to come into thread the needle. Inhale your right arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread it directly underneath you. Set your shoulder and your ear down onto the ground. You can either have your bottom hand to support you, keep it right there, or you can reach it up to the top of your mat so you get a nice stretch throughout your arm here. Think about pushing down into your shoulder and lifting your hips high and back. Push down into your supporting hand so that you're not dumping into your shoulder. If your arm is overhead, set it back down to support you, and on an inhale, press down into your left hand. Open back up, right arm straight up to the sky. Exhale, set it back down. We'll go right into the second side. Inhale your left arm straight to the sky. Exhale, thread it underneath you, set down your ear and your shoulder. And again, right hand can stay here to support you, or you can reach it up and overhead for a little bit more of a stretch. Again, making sure that your left arm is coming straight out of your socket here. Your arm socket will help you get a nice stretch across the back of your shoulder blade. And if you've got your arm up and overhead, it's also a nice stretch through the underside of your arm. If you had your arm overhead, place your right hand back down to support you. And on your next inhale, press into your top arm, open your left arm up to the sky. Exhale, set it back down. All right, and now let's come down to our backs. So go ahead and bring one of your blocks with you and come down onto your back. Setting up for bridge pose here, so bend your knees, set your feet down so that your fingertips can graze the back of your heels. Make sure you're pressing down and forward into your feet, and on an inhale, lift your hips up and high. I'm going to be here for a few breaths, so if you would like to walk your shoulder blades underneath you, clasp your hands so you can get a little bit more height here. Listen to your body, but if you can, see how high you can lift your hips and how far underneath you can walk your shoulder blades to get the most opening through your front body here that you're able to. Breathe deeply into your side ribs. One more inhale. Exhale, release the clasp if you had it, and roll your spine down to the ground. Bring your arms up and overhead, straight out if you can. Do some windshield wipers with your legs here. And just let this feel good. And as you're ready, come back to center. And if you'd like to do another bridge pose, just like the first one that we did, feel free to do that. If you're coming with me, walk your feet in a little bit closer so that you can grab the outsides of your ankles. If your arms are too short, they don't reach, don't worry about it, just do the first variation. But same thing here, push down and forward into your feet. And on your next inhale, lift your hips up and high. Come into bridge pose. Again, feel free to walk your shoulders underneath you to get a little bit more height. If you'd like the clasp in your hands, if you're doing the first variation, feel free to take that. Lift your hips up and high as you can get them. As much of a chest opener here as you can. One more big inhale, breathe into your ribs. Exhale, roll your spine back down. Hug your knees into your chest, bring your head up and make yourself into a nice tiny little ball here. Give yourself a big squeeze. And release back down. Now grab your block on the second height. You're coming into supported bridge pose. So again, set yourself up just like you would for a normal bridge, but this time lift your hips up and place the block on the second height directly underneath your sacrum, which is the flat part of your back, right above where your butt starts. So wiggle around a little bit there, get comfortable. This pose should have absolutely no effort whatsoever. Let your arms rest down by your sides, adjust your feet if you need to. Let your body lay over the block. There's no effort here. You shouldn't be holding on to any of your muscles. Just let yourself relax. As you're ready, lift your hips up and remove the block. Extend your left leg long and hug your right knee into your chest here. You can move your leg back and forth just a little bit if that feels good. And open your right knee out so that your knee is kind of coming into your armpit. And feel free to bring your left arm out into a T as support here. Give yourself a nice stretch through your groin. Now bring that right knee into your chest and across for a twist. Your right arm can reach straight out into a T here. Twist as deeply as you feel like you need to until you start feeling the beginning of a really good stretch. Don't force it here. This is your time to start winding down and relaxing. Come back to centering, knee into chest. Kick your legs straight up into the air and slowly float it down onto the mat. Bring your left knee into your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. You can roll out your ankle if that feels good. Open your left knee out to the side. Extend your right arm into a T. Use your right leg here to support you so it's active. Bring your left knee into your chest and across for a twist. Extend your left arm out into a T and use your right hand on your left knee to guide your knee down into a twist. Bring your left knee back into your chest. Get up to the sky and slowly float it back down to the ground. Now bring your legs into butterfly pose. While you're laying down, we're coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. So knees open wide, feet are pressing together. If you need a little bit of support because this hurts your knees or your hips, you can feel free to bring a block underneath your knee and set it down so that you can relax here. Or if you don't have a block, you can always use your fist, ball your hand into a fist and set it underneath your hips or your knees or wherever you need a little bit of support. And as we're breathing here, start releasing your breath. No more trying to control it or moving with our breath. Start allowing your muscles to melt into the ground here. You have the option to take Shavasana here, keeping your eyes closed, melting your muscles into the floor. Or if you'd like a traditional Shavasana, you can extend both of your legs out as wide as your mat. If you've got a blanket here, unfold it so it's shoulder stand height and lay it across your pelvis here. Let your legs fall open. Relax your arms by your sides. Let your fingertips curl back into your palms. Let your head relax into the mat. Let your neck relax. Close your eyes and let your eyes feel so heavy that they sink into the back of your head. One final breath here. Shavasana. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. Begin to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Bring some movement back into the body. And as you're ready, stretch your arms up and overhead for a nice good morning stretch. And roll onto your right side for fetal position. Push in your left hand and keeping your eyes closed, come into a seated position with your legs crossed or sitting on your heels. Have your hands on your knees here. And your next inhale, reach your arms up and overhead. Gather up all the energy that we've created together. Exhale, palms together. Bring your hands down to heart center. Take one final breath together. Inhale. Exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Namaste. Stop recording. Did you freeze?